Ben Lomas is pure sunshine and a life enthusiast, a lover of huge laughs, saunas, camping, laksa, and the absurd. He's also a stand-up comedian, gold medal behind-the-scenes TV guy, actor, TV presenter, and giver of the best hugs of all time. When he speaks English with a Dutch accent, I am weak. ChrissieCasters, please meet the adorable Ben Lomas.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
I was going to ask if you could just give me some Dutch now.
Well, I've just come back from holidays, and it's great to be here. And a lot of people are looking at me going, who the fuck is this? That's how they say fuck. They say fuck
Ben,
rather than fuck.
Is there anyone in your life that loves your Dutch accent more than I do?
Ticket inspectors. Ticket inspectors love it, yeah.
What do you mean ticket inspectors?
Well, no, because there was a period where in my 20s when I just had no money and the ticket inspectors would come on, they'd ask for my ticket and I'd be like, I'm having such a wonderful time here in Sydney. I'm in Melbourne. Stop it.
Oh, but did they let you off?
Yeah, and then they were like, no, mate, you need to get a mic, you need to tap on, tap off. And I'm like, I live in a big house of cheese. And I used to, that's the only time I used to really use the Dutch accent.
Is it the only time, or do you ever bring it out?
Oh, sometimes I like to bring it out when I'm talking to the children and they find it really, really annoying.
Well, I love it. I don't find it annoying at all.
Yeah, you love it. And it's because a lot of people don't. Because if you're listening to this in the car right now and you hear the Dutch accent, you may possibly know a Dutch person. And I think we can all agree they're crazy. They're all crazy. They absolutely. My mum's crazy. All my family in Holland is crazy.
Maybe that's why I like it.
Yes.
Because I too am crazy.
Absolutely. Have you been?
I haven't. And I've only ever had sort of like experiences with Dutch people secondhand.
Yeah.
So like a guy that I did Big Brother with 20 years ago, Dan McInnes, remember, with the pointy hair?
Dan McInnes.
Nobody remembers. McInnes was his dad's name. His mum was Dutch. And then all her brothers obviously as well Dutch. Yeah. And I used to beg him to sing a song about ice cream in a Dutch accent that his uncle used to do, Uncle Paul. And for hours I could just listen to him going, ice cream, you scream, everybody likes ice cream, baby, that's what we like. And I just love it. It's my favourite accent.
Well, it's also when you hear like when it's a really thick accent. So when my grandparents used to come to Australia, they would come every 2 years in the 80s to visit us because we migrated from Holland, and we'd get our grandma and grandpa just to, or Oma
Please,
and Oma.
Oma and Opa.
Oma and Opa.
Come
and we get them to sing songs just in a Dutch accent. And so it was just like listening to my Oma just go, blue sweatshirts, blue sweatshirts, like it's just like any song, like
it's so funny,
great. And with the R's and P's. So we used to make my grandfather Opa say goody gumdrops.
I love making older people say stuff like performance.
Oh, it's amazing.
When I was a teenager, me and my best friend Beck used to be in fits of laughter forcing my mum, who's very proper, to say pussy. And we would trick her to say it.
Oh, see, that is so much fun.
It's so much fun. And she wouldn't, because they don't understand what's funny and naughty about it, which is half the joy of it.
Oh, absolutely.
So we would say things like, you know, Mum, say, or, you know, my friend would say, Patty Swan, say, you know, my pussy is furry. And she'd go, my pussy is furry. And just the way she'd say it, absolute heaven.
Or when I love it when they get, like, especially my grandparents would order. Like, I remember once we were kids, they went to McDonald's in Australia. We never got McDonald's as kids. We just had those parents. And then we went there with Opa and Oma, and they were like, could I please get 3 junior buggers?
3 junior buggers. Speaking of your connection with Holland, you and I recently had a conversation on a TV set that I have thought about every day since.
Yeah.
And then you've been on holidays and I've been on holidays, and we haven't really had a chance to regroup after
unpack it.
what you said to me.
Yeah.
And this, I'm hoping, is your surprising story that you've prepped.
Yes, it is. It's fresh in my mind at the moment because I'm trying to unpack it myself. So I went to Europe. I went to Europe. I went to sorry. I went to the homeland.
You made the pilgrimage.
I went back to where I was born, and so the whole plan was I was going to take my partner and the kids back to Holland. To go visit my grandmother, who still was the only remaining sort of family member there. I've got lots of very close friends there because I've lived in Amsterdam. I did uni over there. I managed a nightclub. We don't have time to get into that.
No.
So anyway, so it was all planned. So for the kids to meet their great-great-grandmother. And
what date were you planning?
So we were planning to go mid-September last year. And the plan was, we booked it. You know, we got some cheap deals. And when I say cheap deals, about to take a mortgage on these flights. But that's the way it is at the moment. Anyway, so I get a call from my mum going, hey, I know you're leaving in 7 weeks. You should give Alma a call. I was like, oh, why? What's up? She goes, no reason. Anything should probably give you a call. I was like, is everything okay? She's like, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
She just wants to tell you her pussy is furry. Yeah.
Pussy furry.
Thank you, Alma.
Alma. And then, so I get a call from my Alma. Now, my Alma's 92 years old, and her name's Tini. I call her Oma Tini, and she's like, and then I think for context, I'm going to do her voice in a Dutch accent.
Fantastic.
I think it's only fair. It's like, hi Ben, hoe gaat het? Which is hello, how are you? And so we just started chatting, and I said, hey, really looking forward to seeing you. Really looking forward to it. Kids are looking forward to it. She goes, I've got some bad news. I won't be here. I said, what? And she goes, are you going to go away? No, we've planned this. And she goes,
so you've planned for mid-September to go and see her.
Absolutely.
And when is this conversation occurring?
About 6 weeks beforehand.
July-ish.
Yeah, July-ish, yep. And so she calls up and she lets me know that she won't be there. And I assume she was going away, right? And she goes, no. To let me know, she goes, I've had enough. I've booked in euthanasia and I won't be here. I was like, what? And she goes, yes, I've decided enough's enough. I want to go out on my terms.
What does she mean enough is enough? Was
Enough's
she terminally ill?
No. See, and I love this. See, I love this for two reasons.
I just can't get my head around it.
Yeah, I know, but no one can. Like, there's only two of us, and we know each other really well. And Wade's over there going, you can feel his sphincter tighten, right? Like, in this country, the idea of euthanasia freaks people out, right? And it freaked me out because I was like, hang on. What do you mean? And she goes,
you don't get to choose.
Yeah, you don't get to choose. And there she made the decision that she wanted enough. And I was like, I asked, is it terminal? She goes, no. I was like, do you have, like, I kept asking what's wrong. And she goes, I've got a dicky knee.
Hello, Mr. Summers.
I was like, and she goes, no, I just don't want to end up in a nursing home and I'd like to go out on my terms. And she goes, I know you're coming.
Couldn't she have waited?
100%. I was like, why couldn't she wait? But she couldn't. And she had it in her head that she wanted to do it. And so I didn't know how to react to it because it felt surreal. Like
the power and agency of that decision is breathtaking.
It's crazy. And for context, it's not like you can make that. It's not like getting a haircut in Holland. It's just for context, you can't just go, yeah, but you know what I'll do? I'll get the haircut on Wednesday and then on Thursday, I'm dead.
So how does it work?
So you get two doctors. You get two doctors that work in that area and they're the ones that assess you. If they both agree that it's the best fit, then you can go ahead and do it.
I don't know, it just sounds like she was tired or something. I have felt like if there was an opportunity for me to end it, I probably would have taken it in the last 10 years, but I was just tired.
Well, and this is the thing, that's how I first reacted as well. I was like, could it be the sore knee? Maybe she needs different medication.
Yeah, what about a physio, not a blue needle?
But what was interesting is that it took weeks. Like there's also checks and balances. So they went back and then asked her if she was still up for it. Like she then speaks to a counsellor. Like there's a lot of checks and balances leading up to it.
But the bottom line is it's still okay to make that decision for yourself based on the fact that you can't be bothered living anymore.
Well, yeah, and the fact that you want to go out on your terms. Like, and I think above a certain age in Holland, they allow that, which is Amazing.
How long has this been the case in Holland?
Oh, I think it's been for many years. I don't know. Again, like I've just come back from holidays. It's fresh in my head because I've started writing about it and trying to unpack it myself because my first reaction was the same. I think, why can't you wait?
Yeah.
We're coming. I haven't seen you because of COVID. I haven't seen you in 7 years. But I think she felt so strongly about it that, enough was enough. And
are other people in Holland as shocked by this, or is it like growing up in Australia where you just know that Vegemite is a tasty treat? You know what I mean? Like culturally.
Did we just compare euthanasia to a yeasty spread?
Yes, we did. Because people who don't live in Australia think it's weird and they don't understand it, but we've grown up with it. It's part of our DNA. So is this culturally
absolutely
a concept that
absolutely.
Is accepted?
Absolutely. Like
it's amazing to me.
It was. I spoke to a friend of mine who because it was so funny because I was sharing this with Australian friends and friends of ours, and then they'll blow their mind, and then they'd also just go, what was the last phone call like? Like jokes coming thick and fast. When I was explaining to friends when I went over there, and she'd already passed. It's so normal. And that's what I found so amazing. I was like, of course, this progressive country, with all its flaws, right, it's just they think about the human first. And that's where it's like, I spoke to a friend of mine, and she goes, oh, yeah, my grandma did this. But she decided to let us know. I love this. They were having Christmas Eve dinner, and she decided to let them know, on New Year's Eve, I'd like to go. And they're like, well, it doesn't work like that.
What, 6 days notice?
6 days notice. And in the end, of course, it was a couple of months but she thought in her head that.
Bloody red tape.
I know, but nanny stayed.
Yeah. Well, what an extraordinary story.
But also, like, if I think about it, I was gutted. I was gutted because I wanted to see her.
Of course.
Last grandmother, I wanted to see her, and then what was interesting was the last phone call, the goodbye was amazing. It was so surreal, but also just the conversation we had, it did feel like the last one.
Did you want to record it?
No, and that's the thing. I didn't even think about that. I'd finished work. I just did a 45-minute comedy set, had a great show, and then I set aside this time. She didn't have a phone, so I couldn't do video calls. So it was just voice to voice. And in the end, it was kind of beautiful. Like, it was probably the nicest goodbye I probably will ever have to anyone passing.
Yeah, it would have been. I'm thinking to my gran, who I absolutely adored, and the advantage, I guess, of knowing when she was going to die would have been I would have had the opportunity to have that conversation. Whereas as it was, probably the last time I spoke to her was, I'm bored or whatever, like a really pointless conversation because she died suddenly with no notice, and I never really got the chance to connect with her and tell her what she meant to me. Yeah,
and that's whether this is the future in our country or whether we're able to step aside and be able to do that. But if we do it more, then it's...
given the results of the recent referendum, I'm guessing that we're not really that progressive.
Well, we're not, and we have a long way to go, right? But maybe there'll be an opportunity where those kind of changes will occur. Because when I had the conversation, Chrissy, it was amazing because I said to her, hey, say hello to Opa, because I was very close. I was closer more to my Opa than I was but say hello to him. I miss him.
On the other side,
right? And say hello to your sisters, right?
There's no such thing.
Right. Wait. Okay. Because I was like, she went to church. She did all that. I was like, just respecting. And she goes, well, is there another side?
She had a gutful of this life.
Is there another side? I was like, well, come on, where are all those Sundays? Like you get right to the end and you start questioning it now. And then I loved it because then I was like, because I was awkward, and my go-to thing, being a comic is to make light of it. And I said, and her sister would never stop talking. Like her sister, Omameno, would just keep talking, right? And so my Opa, and she lived next door. So when I used to go visit, it was always, Opa would just have to listen to her sister just talk and talk and talk. And I said, well, I think both of them are looking forward to you coming up there because finally Opa doesn't have to listen to Omameno anymore.
You would have loved that.
And I got a giggle. Like,
great.
She laughed. And then as we wrapped it up, And this is what was so surreal, like, you know, and like the jokes come thick and fast. Every time I tell someone new, they're like, dude, how did you end the phone call? Did you know you hang up? No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
Oh, God, it's so bizarre.
It's so bizarre. And then, because I remember the phone call was 19 minutes and 13 seconds, right? And it was bizarre. I hadn't planned it. I just knew I'd call, but it just didn't feel like it was going to be the last one until we finally said goodbye.
Yeah.
Because then we said goodbye, and then the next day, literally 24 hours later, my I guess kind of my auntie over there, the equivalent, she sent through a photo of her holding her hand, and she'd passed. Wow! And it's so funny to think now, because I went over there and spoke to the extended family, and it felt like, because I hadn't seen her in 7 years. The phone call kind of was a really nice way to say goodbye rather than saying goodbye in person. I know that sounds weird, but it's like that phone call, which in my head before I was going to have this discussion, I thought I wouldn't feel anything. And then after thinking about it, I was like, it was probably one of the nicest goodbyes I've ever said to anyone passing.
How amazing.
Yeah, but I still find it funny because I've had other comedians go, well, you could have, do the kids recognise it? You could have gone over to Holland, hired an actor and pretend that to be your great-grandmother.
Trust comedians.
Every dark angle you think of, they keep coming. And because I want to turn it into like a live show, I just want to unpack it even more. Every time I think about even this discussion now, like I just haven't realised how important that phone call was until just talking to you.
Right.
Because, like, imagine if I didn't have that.
Oh, it's an extraordinary gift to be able to
know when the person and to go out on their terms.
Yes. You're Australian and Dutch.
Yes.
Where do you culturally lie on the concept of voluntary euthanasia for yourself?
Oh, if I have a chance, I would love to go out on my own terms with my family around me. Might do a bit of a comedy set before I go out.
Because nobody wants to end up like Flossie Dickey. Do you know Flossie Dickey?
No, who's Flossie Dickey?
So she
Great stage name.
It's a great name. She turned 100 and she was in a home in America somewhere. And the local TV station heard that this woman was turning 100 and sent a very chirpy news presenter out to cover the story. And there's this fantastic grab of this very old, frail woman sitting crumpled in a chair with this very perky American woman next to her.
I know where this is going to go.
With a giant microphone saying, "You're about to turn 100, Flossie. How do you feel?" And then Flossie looks straight down the barrel and she goes, "I'm so tired." Then the newsreader says, "Oh, I'm sure you're tired, Flossie. But aren't you excited about the party that we're planning for you?" And Flossie goes, "Not one bit."
Flossie.
I know. My gift for Flossie would have been the same treatment that your Omar was able to take advantage of. What an extraordinary story.
It is. And I every day I do think about it.
It's time to play Shake Your Money Maker, Ben Lomas.
Shake it.
How long have you been working in this business?
Full time, I'd say now coming up to 10 years.
So you must have done some very questionable things for money. Shake Your Money Maker is a segment where we talk about the strangest things that you have done for some filthy lucre.
Okay.
You can take some time. Some time.
Well, as a comedian, you like it is hard to say no, right?
Oh yeah, it starts with a yes.
Yeah, yes to every gig.
Yes,
absolutely yes to every gig, and there are so many. The ones I enjoy the most, because you go through the stages of, that was $20. Like there was
$20.
Well, okay. So one of my first ever paid gigs, right, was on a Yarra cruise in Melbourne, right, and so.
A booze cruise, I believe.
A booze cruise, and it was my first paid gig, and it was with a comedian from Perth called Janelle Koenig, okay?
Oh, I love Janelle.
Right. And so this is my first gig. She was emceeing, headlining at the same time. And she was, when I met her, she was still in Melbourne and she was running these workshops and she goes, hey, I've got a gig for you. And anyway, we're on this and sorry, I'm going to use your gig, and she crushed it. She was, but I just didn't know what to do. And so she opened the show with, it was a great joke. She opens the show with, got the guitar, and this is a rowdy bunch of people, right? And she goes,
they've been drunk since 8 o'clock in the morning.
And she goes, oh, I know what the I know what the girls are thinking. Oh, beautiful red dress. Oh, I know what the guys are thinking. Oh, hope she does anal. Right. Kills. And one of the best, still one of the best, right? And it absolutely just crushes. And then I go up there, right? And I get nothing. And all I'm thinking about, this is my first paid gig. I was like, I'm getting money, right? And I bombed. Like, people stopped looking. At one stage, people left to go to the bar. Like, it was just the horrible. And I remember, I think I was supposed to do 10 minutes. I did 3, right? Oh. And then, but this is the worst bit. I go, I can't leave. Like, I can't get off the boat, right? Oh. So I go to the back of the boat and I just stand in the corner. And I remember one guy comes out and just looks at me and goes, yeah, you should probably have another beer, mate.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, come on.
He didn't think of stealing her line when nothing was working and saying, I know what the girls are thinking.
I know, but I
know what the guys are thinking.
I was so fresh. And I just remember, I haven't thought about this in so long because it was the first one that popped into my head, but just the confident, I was so young. I just didn't have anything.
How much was in the envelope at the end of the night?
I think it was like it was something like $40 or $20. I remember they were red, but it wasn't many of them.
A couple of lobsters. Weirdly, more than you're getting for this.
Yeah. But it's amazing. Like, I still, because I've worked on a lot of television shows, some that have been cancelled after 3 episodes where you're just like, whoa, what's going on? Or then you'll say yes to a corporate gig out in the country and only, 4 farmers show up and you're like, there's only so many times you can say, what do you do for a living?
This element of what you do for a living just inspires such awe from me because I could do that once and never again. I could never feel that worthless over and over again. It is the most extraordinary character trait for people that work in your business.
Because especially at the start, it toughens you up because it's quite often you can go on tour with comedians who don't experience that. And some of them are lucky enough to, bang, before you know it, you're famous and you're doing theatres, right? And so you don't. But it's so funny because I think about those gigs building up to them becoming a professional comedian. They are some of my favourite moments because when you're backstage with a bunch of comedians, which a lot of your friends and our friends, all we talk about is those gigs. We don't talk about the ones that went well. We never do. They're boring. That's work. We talk about the one time where there's just a whole bunch of hecklers in the front row, just absolutely, you're just having the worst.
What's the most brutal heckle you've ever had?
The most brutal one was I was doing a corporate function and I think it was a concreting firm or something like that. And
already, I'm going the way of Omar. I know. Like immediately. But that's what I would tell the 2 physicians that are examining me.
But I remember that one vividly because I was getting nothing. I was getting nothing and it gets to 10-minute mark and then somebody yells out, he goes, hey, mate, if you don't get funny, we're going to kill you. Now, I thought, I thought building concrete.
We're going to kill you.
Yeah, I was like, building concrete. I was like, okay, I can use it. I was like, what are you going to do, right? Cement my feet together and throw me in the bay, right? I was like, killer.
Classic.
Like, riffing.
Take
right?
that. Stay down, heckler.
And then he just goes, oh, no, mate. Just by looking at you, you'll sink just fine.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, I got nothing. This is the most perfect heckle.
I hope that you took the 2 pineapples or lobsters you got from that gig and gave it to that man.
No, the only reason I said yes to that was because it was a good pay. It was like, that was when I started getting it paid a little bit more. I was like,
what is good pay? to turn up to a concrete
depends if
place
it's-
and be threatened with murder.
Well, it's so funny. At the time, you don't think it. You just think, because that's the thing that fools you when they're at cash. And I just want to say I've never taken a cash
No, of
gig.
course not.
Never. And all my income is with the ATO. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, cool. But if those ones are around, but they're far and few.
You've heard about them.
You've heard about them because
Yeah.
it's funny because I think about those gigs and then I think about my first job and then I was just talking about because I've just come away from holidays with one of my best mates and we just talking about that we used to deliver papers like everyone, right?
Oh, I didn't.
But it was just like at the end of the weekend we never knew how much we get paid.
Do you know what I did? I agreed to do a paper round. I've never told anybody this. I agreed to do a paper round and hot on it, like there at the news agency very early, loaded them onto the bike, onto the rally.
Yeah.
After about 4 minutes of delivering these pamphlets, they were brochures like for Super Amart or whatever, I thought, this is fucked. I'm not doing this for $4 at the end of the day.
It was
So I just took them all to a rubbish bin and threw them in.
Jesus.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of people angry that they couldn't read the odd spot. I need to know what's happening. It's funny because when I did it, it's the guy, we just joked about it because my best mate was really good at it and I was the worst. And the guy, John, if you listen to this podcast, you know who you are, news agency on Rathdown Street, North Carlton, you hated me because every time I'd come back and I'd have a flat tyre. Every time it would break, it would do something. And then I remember he brought the bike once and I remember he's like, is the bike okay? And I was
Bad tradesman blames the tools.
I know, but there was a nail like 3 inches in the tyre. He goes, that's not good. And I remember just pulling it out and watching the tyre just go, shh.
So that paper round actually cost you money. in
Yeah,
the end.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Speaking of jobs, previous jobs, current jobs, you and I met, I don't know where we met actually.
This is a really good question. I don't know if it's when I came first time to be interviewed. I feel like that was the first time and then we worked on a show together.
Yes. Well, you and I work on The Masked Singer.
Yes.
And now is time for a round of What's in the Bum Bag, Ben Lomas.
What's in the bum bag? Sting, sting.
What's in the bum bag?
Here we go. Okay. So I am now going to open the bum bag.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. And then
Please describe to our beautiful podcasters what is in the bum bag, Ben Lomas.
This is a model of the Titanic.
And why would that be in the bum bag for you?
I don't know. Are we even allowed to talk about this?
Yes, we are.
Are you 100%? Mm-hmm. You've been given the okay?
No.
I don't think I've been given the okay.
Tell it.
I can't. I don't think I can.
I've told it on air.
Oh, you've told it on air? Okay. Really? Mm-hmm. So this is the Titanic, and I believe this was supposed to be a costume on The Masked Singer. Is that correct?
Correct.
This is amazing.
Please describe what happened when you and I put 2 and 2 together
Well,
live in front of hundreds of people.
well, because we were working on the show, we realised that who was the person behind that?
Brendan Favola.
Oh, yeah, okay. Which to be fair, I can credit to you that you even knew what the freaking, you're very good at guessing,
I
right?
am.
Are you like.
It's a superpower.
It's a superpower. But also you just seem to know people's voice extremely well.
Yeah.
And so we have this costume that came out and what was it called?
The Captain.
The Captain, okay. We're like, the Captain, like, that's weird because the Captain looks like a ship that's upside down.
Yeah. But the Captain was very festive.
Yeah.
The Captain came out. He sang, hey, baby.
Ooh.
But he absolutely was a giant ship. But he was a Fair Star the Fun Ship kind of guy, right? And he had festoon flags and he was dancing around a stage that had a suspiciously shaped sandy hill and lots of people dancing around. Lots of people dancing around in bikinis. But there was something not right about the Captain and the set. It looked rushed.
It looked, but also, but it's so funny because it's hard to then look in hindsight because behind the scenes there was a lot of, oh my God, what's going on? What's going on? We need to do it. Now, we don't really hear that. We don't hear that. I hear it a bit more because I'm coming in and I'm backstage.
The first time that we knew about this new mask, the captain, was when he was unveiled. And right at the moment that we realised something wasn't right about the set, you and I locked eyes.
Yeah, I know.
And laughed.
Couldn't stop laughing.
I could hear you squealing over, hey, baby. Why were we laughing?
Because we just realised that they had to quickly change it from being a Titanic to something else. They couldn't do the Titanic with what happened.
To a Fair Star, the fun ship.
Yes.
Because the week before...
The what is it called?
The submarine had exploded.
It's underwater.
And killed everyone inside going to the Titanic.
So bad. Quick, but to their credit, amazing work.
Amazing work.
Because what they had to do is they had to quickly think, and all departments.
Yes.
This is what we were laughing. Because laughing was like the quick thinking, the ability of wardrobe to change it.
Correct.
Right, to change it. But then my favourite bit is the quick thinking of the props team. And shout out to them because
shout out.
No one knew.
The day the submarine exploded and sadly killed everyone on board, it was a tragic story.
Yes, absolutely.
And everyone was talking about it. The captain was due to arrive on set, not as the captain, as the Titanic. The set was a giant iceberg.
Yep.
The dancers around the Titanic were originally dressed as, 1920s people that were boarding the Titanic.
That's right. God, your attention to detail is phenomenal.
This is my favourite part. The captain, previously known as the Titanic, had a large train of frothy sea around him. And sewn into that frothy sea were tiny little dead bodies, which had to be expertly clipped off so that the Titanic could become the captain, Fair Star, the fun ship vibe. Then very quickly, the iceberg had to be painted in sandy colours and a big palm tree thrown on it.
Well, and that's because I remember so vividly because I was like, oh, well, then what was beforehand? Because we knew it was such a quick turnaround. And that's why I was amazed because it was a stroke of genius because it was a gigantic iceberg, then got sprayed completely yellow.
Yeah.
And just to add it, and again, I guess this is what they get paid, the big bucks, is then out of nowhere, a palm tree just appeared in the middle.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is amazing.
And you can just see them backstage going, yep. We've done it.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially, I can't remember her name, but she was just absolutely, I remember there was just someone coloured half in yellow because they were just still going just to make it look like an island, which it did.
Which it absolutely did.
God.
We just sensed there was something odd there.
But don't you find it, though, on all the shows you've worked out that, and this is where, like, because we're quite often there at the last day, on the record day, that the amount of effort that goes into even putting anything of any sort of production, especially something like that, the amount of effort from every department, just to get to the final. What people see at home, I hope they realise how hard it is.
I know, the person power. I've never seen so many people in Studio Blacks in my life.
Yeah, it's amazing. Shout out to them all.
Shout out to every
because it's not an easy job working in television.
Just a question though. Obviously, they had to pivot away from the Titanic because of that tragic story. Riddle me this though. Is it ever tasteful to have dead bodies sewn
Probably
into?
not.
Like the story itself is a very sad story, even originally.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, it's actually a good point. I never thought about it. I mean, I never saw the original costume, so therefore, I mean, I wouldn't know.
Well, you almost saw it. Very close. Okay, here is your chance. I don't even know if you've prepped this.
Oh, yes, I have.
If you haven't, you don't need to do it.
No, I've got one. Yeah,
okay,
I've got
all
one.
right. Here is your opportunity, Ben Lomas, to ask me anything. And by anything, I mean anything. Go hard. Balls out.
Okay, balls out. Okay. I spoke about this with my partner, and I was just like, oh, what could you ask it? And my original question was, but just because you've changed it, like you just like ask me anything, because I wanted to know, is there anything in your 20s that you did at the time thought was great but deeply regret? Right, that was my original question, because I'm fascinated by that, because only because we've gone from laughter to seriousness, and I think that's what this podcast will be. I don't know, but I think it definitely will be, and because we're relatively new friends. And I love that, because it's in this industry, it's hard to make friends, especially if you've got a family, and being genuine with one another. Yeah, it's hard. And you would know that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a miracle, actually, I think.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen often because there's a level of trust in this industry which sometimes can be, I guess, challenged at times. Yeah, and that's why I feel so comfortable with you, and that's why I got excited that you asked me to do this, because, let's be real, I'm not a huge name. I'm not, but it's just you like to focus on people being interesting.
Yes, you're very lucky to be here, Ben. I agree.
So let's get rid of that question.
Yeah, because I don't really believe in regrets. Probably if I had to answer that question, the first thing that came to my mind was how I behaved when I ended my first serious relationship in my 20s.
Oh, okay.
I'm not proud of that.
Yeah, totally.
How I acted and how I treated him and all of that. And I've grown since then. And he and I are really great friends.
Totally.
But, that's probably the thing that stands out for me in my 20s, what I regret. I just wasn't very kind. I didn't follow my instincts. I did what I thought you should do when you break up with someone, which is be a total bitch.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel right at the time, and it doesn't feel right now. And I'm really grateful that I've had the opportunity over the years to say that and make it better and take all the good, because it was a 7-year relationship, super important, from 20 years old to 27, a huge time. And I was able to gather from the furnace of hatred that I left behind all the good bits. So I'm fortunate.
And as much as I was then going to bring it back full circle, is you are able to have that conversation.
Yes.
And I think that's the biggest thing, that you actually can have that conversation.
Yeah.
Because I was able to have that conversation with my grandmother.
Yeah.
I was able to say goodbye to Oma and heal anything that we had. Not that we had anything because she was my Oma, but I think so often so many people don't have that conversation, and then either they pass away or they're just stuck with it for the rest of their lives.
I think people are afraid of talking. And I've got a rule that if someone's got an issue with me, or if I've got an issue with someone, which is very rare, I won't engage on text message.
Yeah.
To try and sort out a problem.
Oh, no.
The first thing I say is call me. Let's have a time.
Yeah.
Because a vicious text volley is not it.
Yeah.
And more often than not, I found that no one agrees to actually speak.
And especially in text message, it's really hard to convey a Dutch accent.
That's it, Ben Lomas. Yay! Thank you so much for joining me. I love you so much.
Mate, that was amazing. That was a roller coaster.
And as if you were not first on the list to come and play with me on the ChrissieCast. I would have had you here yesterday, but you were busy living your best life on your dead Oma's money. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks.